When I was 16, I used to go to these local venue shows around the South Bend and Mishawaka, Indiana area. I remember seeing bands that grew intense popularity later on in their careers. Artists like Native, The Ready Set, Law Dispute, and so on. But there was something different about the more underground bands I saw. Bands like Line of the North, The Honor Recital, and Sleep Patterns played with their hearts out, and it showed. The crowd huddled around the band. Microphones stick up straight instead of in front of the singer, and the chants expressed in the songs made everyone in the room pay attention. Merchant Ships was one of those bands. Ever since their breakup in 2010, they have gone to have a cult following, and for good reason. Let's dive into the story of Merchant Ships. Merchant Ships was formed in South Bend, Indiana in 2008 by members, and at the time best friends, Jack Seneff and Dwayne Robinson. Soon after, they hooked up with great guitar player Nick Stutzman and Michael Gerstein as the bassist. As far as how they all met, Jack was running a music venue out of his church basement called RPMP. The band formed after being inspired by local bands Forever and Always and Effect Effect. Those bands broke up and formed Line of the North. Which Jack expressed in an interview that their second show ever was the coolest set he's ever watched.
And so anyway, I booked this band Line of the North because it was the new band from Forever and Always, right? So Forever and Always had broken up, and there was another band called Effect Effect, and they had broken up, and they were forming this band called Line of the North. And so I said, hey, I loved your old bands. Will you please play in my church basement, whatever. And they're like, okay. So they played their second show ever in the basement. And I think the set was probably 15, 20 minutes, if that. And it was, to this day, probably the coolest set I've ever watched. They had Adam Vass, who's in Law Dispute now. He had like a laptop going with samples and stuff. Uh-huh. Which at the time, I didn't know anything about samples. You got to keep in mind, I'm a child at this point, right? So they have the samples going with the sound clips, and they just play so fast and so hard, but it's still it's super melodic because it was sort of their influences were like Make Me and East Coast screamo, the screamo that's more melodic in nature, not quite as harsh as what City of Caterpillar or something. Okay. I don't know much about screamo, but so anyway, I watched them play. It's like this life-changing 15 minutes, right? And the screamer Doyle, his name's Doyle Martin, who's in Cloakroom now, he didn't face the crowd, and he just got so into it. Everyone was just they were all screaming the words, and it was, as I'm telling you the story, I feel kind of tingly about it, and that sounds so dumb.
No, I get it. Yeah,
yeah, and so I was just, and I saw that, and it was that's what I want to do. I want to scream just like that. I couldn't play guitar. I didn't know how to play instruments.
Now that Merchant Ships was created, the band started to put out their first demo, called the Lawcats Demo, released in July of 2008. I find this demo to be a great example of what the band was capable of. Jack's screams and lyrics clearly emphasize what he was going through at the time. Songs on the demo talk about people stabbing you in the back, feeling alone, divorce, and the realization that you don't know anything in this world. Those listening definitely had their hearts hit with punchy drums, melodic guitar chords, and a real sense of anguish in Jack's voice. Then the boys decided to put out their first official EP, called I Want to Forget Everything That Ever Happened, Ever, released on January 16th, 2009. Limited to 30 copies, and released through the singer's short-lived record label. This demo featured better quality in recording, 5 new tracks, and a redid version of Long-Term Relationships Were Only Cool When Divorce Wasn't. The band then released the single Old Gray as a part of the Simple Day compilation. There was another demo tape release called Bummer Times Demo. It is believed to have been released in late 2008 to early 2009. There were bonus tracks on the B-side of the cassette release, with 2 acoustic songs and the jam If a Bear's Hungry, He Will Eat. But then the boys broke up. But another project was brewing quite quickly. Jack and Nick decided to start Midwest Pen Pals with Garrett Cabello on the drums. The group released only but one EP, known as the iconic Inside Jokes. This EP seems to be the real continuation of Merchant Ship's evolution, as we hear more of Jack singing and chanting rather than screaming. Nick just shreds, and Garrett's drumming is on point. Austin's house has good lore to why the band first broke up. The standout song off the EP was Movies Like Juno. This song has anime music videos, movie music videos, and more than 1 million plays on YouTube. Even though this project only lasted 6 to 7 months, it became not only an important part of the Merchant Ship's lore, but a beloved group gaining a cult following. Then Merchant Ships decided to get back together in early 2010. Not sure why they decided to give it another go, but it seems like things were going in their favor. They announced around 2010 that they signed with Fenton Williamston label Count Your Lucky Stars. This label was founded by the husband and wife duo Keith and Kathy Leitonen, so that they could self-release their songs from their band Empire, I Was a Lonely Estate. Not only that, their new EP, which is the famous For Cameron, would be released digitally through the label. The band would then release the physical CD on their own.
Let go of your bitterness and realize you are not alone. I look around at all my friends who want to pay for life and ends. Kids I'll never see again. Came to me the most to me.
And even better news, they would announce that they were going on an East Coast tour. From what I could tell, the tour would last from June 22nd to August 14th. It seems like big things are happening for the boys, and their dreams of touring were finally coming true. But unfortunately, throughout this tour, inner band turmoil was brewing. In a post on the Merchant Ships Tumblr page, Jack writes in more detail about how the band was feeling at the time. From what he's saying, it seems like even though they were living out their dreams, their musical and life differences got in the way. Once the Maryland date came, Nick decided to leave the band after the coming weekend. The band tried to have Michael play guitar for the rest of the remainder of the dates, but it got too complicated, and the band decided to head home early. After announcing the breakup, the band released Shipsography, a collection of their older songs predating For Cameron. The CD includes songs from I Want to Forget and Bummer Times, with a new version of Dying and a new song Something About Paul Revere. The last event dealing with the band was a benefit show that they were supposed to play in 2016. It was a show to raise money for the ACLU. However, due to Nick's rumors and accusations towards him, it was announced that the band would not play together. I don't know the full extent of what Nick has done in the past, but it seems like he was sort of toxic to his bandmates, women, and even the labels that he was on. So yeah, that's basically the whole shebang when it comes to Merchant Ships. I think the reason why Merchant Ships is loved by so many is because of the band's authenticity, and being able to be a voice of a generation for kids who felt life was hard. I felt like shit when I was in high school, especially towards the end. Friends started changing, and getting into things I wasn't into, learning that everyone I knew wasn't by my side when I thought they were. The crushes and girlfriends I had didn't turn into the high school fairy tale ending I was hoping for. And then we got family issues and the feeling of being alone. The raw sound in both instruments and vocals really spoke to us, screaming along with their songs. It was a beautiful combination of a group of guys getting out their feelings while resonating to their fans. Merchant Ships spoke to us emo Midwestern kids and reminded us that we're not alone. Thank you, Jack, Nick, Michael, and Dwayne. Thanks to you, we stand on our own, looking for a place to call our own. Thank you for watching.
Turn the lights off, carry me home.
Oh yeah. What's the next part? Oh yeah. What is it? Late night. Late night? It sounds really gay without everything else. Ready?
Late night, come home, work sucks, I know. Left me roses by the stairs. Surprises, let me know she cares. Say it ain't so, I will not go. Turn the lights off, carry me